Do you want to study abroad on full scholarships and you don't know where to start? Then this video is for you. Hi guys, and welcome back to my channel. Welcome to those who are new, and a warm welcome to the loyal subscribers. I know it's been long since I posted a new video on this channel, and it's because honestly, in all honesty, it's really hard to balance life and being consistent here on YouTube, but I promise I will try my best to keep you guys posted with all the content that you need to study abroad on full scholarships or find jobs, visa sponsored jobs to work abroad. So today's video is about the application process to US schools or schools abroad in general, and what you need to do to apply abroad. So this is the third video of the study abroad application series, and on this video I'm talking about filling out the application process. So this is step number 3 of this application process series. So if this is something that interests you, and if you want to know what kind of applications you need to fill for your study level to study abroad, then stay tuned and let's dive in right into this video. Alright, first things first, for those who are visiting this channel for the first time, I am Dimpo and I make videos to help you find fully funded scholarships to study abroad, as well as find visa sponsored jobs to work abroad. So if this is your first time, a warm welcome, and for those who are returning subscribers, thank you guys for the love, and I know that you guys have been sharing these videos that I create for all of you, and I really appreciate that. So today's video, like I mentioned earlier, it's about filling out your application process or your application forms to study abroad. So let's dive in. So I have my notebook with me, and I'm going to be looking into this notebook a lot during this video because I want to make sure that all those points have been shared with you. So let's go on straight to the first point. So like I did mention earlier, I'm going to be helping you guys to follow the steps to fill out your application to your desired schools to study abroad. So the first point on this list is obviously fill in your application form. So this point means that you need to fill in the application form that you'll be sending to the schools that you'll be applying for or applying to. So let's say you're an undergraduate student and you want to apply to schools abroad, and let's make a typical example with the United States. Let's say you want to study in the United States and you want to send in your application forms. Obviously, to be accepted into a school, you first need to send your application, right? So the types of applications that you need to send as an undergraduate student is university specific application form that can be found on the school's website, or the common application or the collagen application. So I know I mentioned a bit about this application methods or application types on my previous videos, so you can watch them here. I'll link them somewhere here. So this application forms, especially common application and collagen application, enables you to apply to a maximum of 20 schools if you're taking common application, or a maximum of 10 schools if you're taking collagen application with one application. So that's the fun of it. You get to apply to as many schools with using just one application. But let's say you are a graduate student. So for graduate students, you guys unfortunately have to follow the school specific application form, which is found on the school's website, where you fill in your details and then you click submit. So that's basically about filling out your application. So let's say you are targeting schools in UK and you're applying as an undergraduate student. There's an application form called UCAS which allows you to apply to multiple schools using one application, just like common application and quality application. This one also allows you to apply to different schools using just one application. So let's move on to the next point, which is abiding with the application deadline. So obviously when you apply, you need to be wary of these application deadlines, and schools have different application deadlines that you need to abide by. So when you apply to the schools, make sure that you jot down these important dates that you need to have your application sent to your schools by, and make sure that you don't work under pressure, because then you have to meet those deadlines. So make your preparations well ahead of time, and make sure you've gathered all the information that needs to be gathered for you to fill out the application process. So what I would advise you to do is go through the application form and see the kind of questions that these guys will be asking you, and then if it's questions or if it's things that you need to gather, then go and gather those that information and come back and fill in the application form, right? It makes sense that way. Okay, so moving on to the third point is paying your application fee. So this is a very crucial step in the application process to schools abroad, and usually this is one of those steps that sometimes hinder other people to apply to schools because they don't have the financial means to apply to schools abroad. So for those of you who may not be able to apply to as many schools as you may want because the schools are asking you to pay an application fee, here's my tip. If you guys want to study abroad, and let's say you have like 5 schools that you want to apply to, and only 2 schools from your 5 list only 2 schools from that list allows you to apply for free, and then let's say this 3 remaining schools requires you to pay an application fee and you don't have that money. So here's what you should do. You should email the schools that you want to apply to and ask them for a fee waiver. A fee waiver is obviously the school saying, okay, we understand you won't be able to pay for your own application fees, and then we understand that you are interested in studying with us, so we will pay for your application fee. So they give you a fee waiver, and it's usually a digit code or a numeric and digit code that they give to you when you apply, and you insert this code on the payment step. Like when you get to the last step of your application, when they say pay, they would say you insert your credit card details, or if you have a fee waiver code, you insert that fee waiver code. So when the school have issued you this fee waiver code, you can use it to pay the application fee. So that's about that. But if you are able to pay your application fees, then you can go ahead, pay, and submit your application. Alright, moving on to the 4th step. It's the proficiency test. So the schools will ask you to submit proficiency tests, and I know I also mentioned this in my previous videos. Like I did mention, I'll link them somewhere here. So the proficiency tests are usually tests like TOEFL test, SAT, GRE, GMAT, and all the likes of the IELTS, and lately they've incorporated Duolingo tests. So proficiency tests are usually like language tests that certain schools would require you to take to test your proficiency level in that subject or in that language. And mostly if you are from Africa, Asia, then they would usually ask you to provide your English proficiency test as a prerequisite to get your admission to the school. So I also have a trick, especially for African students, and in particularly Lesotho students, because obviously I'm in Lesotho and I make content that is geared to helping more Lesotho students to study abroad. So I'm going to be a bit biased here, and tailor this type of example to Lesotho students. So most schools, let's make a typical example with the US again. Most schools in the US, when you apply, they ask you for proficiency test, the English proficiency test. and usually this is TOEFL or IELTS. So if you come from Africa, specifically if you come from Lesotho, because Lesotho uses English as its official language, most schools waive Basotho students the requirement, the TOEFL requirement, because they've been taught in English the whole life, like from elementary through high school. So obviously they understand that your English proficiency level is a bit higher than somebody who has been taught maybe in French all their life, or somebody who's been taught in another language, and they would need to translate the transcripts into English. Whereas with a Lesotho student, their transcripts are already in English. So if by some chance when you apply, your school requests you to submit TOEFL results or IELTS English score results, you can ask for a waiver, that the school will waive you the requirement, and then you can get to submit other required documentation and other required supporting application documents aside from TOEFL or IELTS. So that is regarding the proficiency tests. Same thing applies with the standardized tests. So I want to make a distinction between these two. So proficiency tests are usually language related, which is like the English proficiency test, and then standardized testing are the likes of SAT and GRE. So I know I might have confused you earlier when I said SATs and GREs are proficiency tests. They are not, they are standardized tests. Okay. The next step is to send your documents, to send in your supporting documents. So once you have submitted your application, then you send in your supporting documents. So usually with schools in the US and Canada, you send in your application before, and then you send your supporting documents after your application has been submitted. But with schools in Europe, sometimes they require these documents to accompany the application, and they'll have you they'll have within the application portal, they'll have where you upload your documents. So just so you are like, but she said I'll send my application documents once the application has been submitted. Bear in mind that with European schools, some European schools, they would want you to submit your documents during the actual application. Like when you fill in the application, you send that with your documents. Okay. Also, one important point is that for this application step, what I usually advise people that I help in my program is that you should request interviews. So let's say you have submitted your application, you've sent your supporting documents, and then maybe you are waiting for admissions decision. During this time, while you wait, I highly advise that you request an interview with the school, and you can do this by reaching out to the alumni of the school to ask for an interview so that you can get to know the school better, or you could reach out to the admissions office and request an interview. They'll be happy to, so because they also want to learn more about you, so they would schedule this interview, and you can get to chat with the admissions team so that you get to know what is an ideal student that they're looking for in the school, and this can also like give you a bit of points in your application profile, because obviously these people will have talked with you and they would have understood you a bit better than what you wrote on your application, and this may put you in good books, right? All right, so this I think brings us to the end of this video, because the last point that I have here is wait for your application decision. So obviously once you submitted your application, you submitted your supporting documents, you may even have requested an interview, have done your interview, then obviously it's time to wait. Give yourself permission to rest and wait for your admissions decision. So like I just said, this brings us to the end of this video. I hope what I shared with you resonates. If you are somebody who have been trying to apply on your own and you've gone through some of the things that I mentioned here, or all of the things that I mentioned here. And for those who will be starting the applications for the first time on your own, I hope this video helps. And if it does, remember to give this video a big thumbs up, and remember to like, share, and leave a comment below. I will do my best to respond to all the comments in the comment section. So if you have any question regarding what I just shared, leave your question down below. Or if you have any additional points that you want to share, say you have already done your applications, or maybe you even have received your admissions decision, let me know in the comments. Even if you are somebody who I have personally helped and you want to share your experience, then you can leave that in the comment section below, and I'll make sure that I link the previous videos. If you haven't watched them, I'll link them in the description of this video. And once again, remember to subscribe to this channel by clicking the button here, because when you do, this video will get recognized in the algorithm, and that means more people will be able to view this video. And also, if you share this video with your contacts, that means YouTube will see that this video is being recognized in the algorithm, and it will get as many views and hopefully help as many people who need this information. So this concludes today's video, and I'll be seeing you on the next one. Until next time, bye guys.